Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, Kinfield Airport staff to be relocated due to health concerns. Hotel owners frustrated over unpaid insurance claims just 2 weeks before the new hurricane season starts. And a critical need for health specialists as the country's consultant ophthalmologist goes on pre-retirement leave. The details of the news coming up.
When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001-275-5003 today.
First up in the news, fear of an airborne infection has caused the Dominica Public Service Union to intervene on behalf of Port Authority staff assigned to the Kinfield Airport. General Secretary of the PSU, Thomas Later, says management of the Air and Seaport Authority has already responded with plans to relocate their staff's office out of the terminal building.
They are concerned about their health. They are having fungus-related symptoms, itching, nose, throat itching, and so on and so forth. So we have visited there and we have got in contact with the acting controller. That's why he's preparing a place for them adjacent to where they are so that they can examine until something is done about the whole building. We are trying to ensure that they operate out of the present room where they are. We'll be monitoring the situation and we hope at least in the next couple of days, whatever has been prepared for them will be complete as a temporary measure. And we are hoping that environmental health can also supervise the cleaning of the area or washing of the area.
The situation comes as the PSU hopes to conclude negotiations over salaries and work benefits with management of the Port Authority on behalf of port workers. While withholding details, Later says the union is making some progress with those negotiations coming out of last week's meeting with port management. Later expects to meet with management on the 6th of June to wrap up negotiations for the 2018-2020 triennium. In the health sector, the country awaits specialist doctors crucial to its public health system to be posted from Cuba, including an ophthalmologist and ear, nose and throat specialist. Consultant ophthalmologist Dr. Hazel Shillingford-Ricketts is on pre-retirement leave from the public service, while Dr. Irvin Pascal is the only consultant ENT specialist on island. Health Minister Dr. Kenneth Daru said while students have obtained Cuban scholarships to study medicine, the country urgently needs specialist doctors to fill these positions.
The Minister of Health would have committed into providing almost immediately all of this, with the exception of the radiologists, which we were told were in a bit higher demand by a number of other countries, which Cuba also assists from time to time, and that might be a bit longer in coming. And we need this ASAP because, as you're aware, that for a number of years we've had 1 or 2 of the said specialists on island. But we would, at the Ministry of Health, since taking over the helm, embarked on a very aggressive training, post-grad training program in Cuba as we speak. So we have about 12, if I recall or so, of our young people embarking on specialist services, specialist studies rather, in Cuba, to include these that I mentioned among many other new ones, emergency, and intensive care medicine, geriatrics, among many others.
Health authorities are also challenged with a high rate of attrition among nurses. In other news now, hotel owners are frustrated at the delay in insurance payouts 8 months after Hurricane Maria and 2 weeks ahead of the new hurricane season. In a recent survey of 20 hotel properties representing 276 exportable rooms, it was revealed that a large percentage of claims had not been paid out. Executive Vice President of the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association, Kevin Francis, says this is hindering the recovery process of hotel room stock.
What we found out is that about 80% of them have not received settlements from their claims, much less for an offer, you know. So we saw it as an issue, because if you remember, there is a concessionary window that opens after the passage of a natural disaster, and that would allow for, you know, concessions like duty and so duty-free, VAT, those things to be removed for 6 months. What's happened is that 6 months has expired, and our members still don't have an insurance settlement to begin the rebuilding process.
Francis says talks with insurance companies revealed several reasons for the delay in payouts to hotel owners.
There are a lot of reasons, one of which is the sheer volume of claims that they have. You know, if you notice, the entire island was devastated, so where they're getting claims upon claims. One insurer, I believe, quoted over 8,000 claims for them alone. So that's one thing that they're one challenge they're experiencing. We have had a conversation with some of the insurers, and apart from the volume, you know, there's also issues of persons not necessarily satisfied with the amount on their claim. After sitting with the insurance companies, they let us know that they're trying to get all these claims processed and handled before the hurricane season, which is pretty much June. So we're looking to see if we have all these claims done by June.
In an effort to help property owners better understand the fundamentals of insurance, the DHTA is being proactive by hosting a seminar later this week with stakeholders.
What we found is post-Maria, there were a lot of insurance issues that were revealed, some revolving around our members' ignorance. When I say ignorant, I don't mean in a negative way. It's just that we're not as versed in the industry, say, as the actual insurers themselves. So what you find is there is terms and conditions that insured members don't necessarily understand. We're engaging CGM Gallagher. CGM Gallagher is our gold partners. And what we're engaging them for is to better equip our members for the hurricane season and the cruise and tourism season coming ahead. So that would include being adequately insured, being in the green light. What do some of these key terms mean? How CGM Gallagher as insurance brokers can help us mitigate some of our problems and our challenges.
Government is unveiling a plan to reposition agriculture, or rather the Ministry of Agriculture, so that it can effectively and efficiently deliver for farmers. The Minister for Agriculture says this repositioning is essential because, as he put it, in spite of their best efforts, unless farmers can access services on time, there will be difficulties. Communication and data collection are two of the areas in which the Minister believes improvements must be made.
While some of the components will be addressed in the project, but the government will have to seek resources from outside to assist us in putting a very serious communication system and the data collection, which is going to be very important. But many of the problems and challenges we've had after the hurricane, in terms of how we redirect the resources, is as a result of lack of or insufficient information to allow us to make proper decisions. And this we're not going to allow to happen. We have to look at our access to our farms, so feeder roads and access to farm is in fact going to be a major component. And I'd like to see a revisitation of the engineering unit which once existed within the Ministry of Agriculture. Even now, so, with the volume of work to be done on the island, heavy equipment, very, very difficult to come by. And I believe that if we have to respond in time to the needs of the farmers, we have to have on standby somewhere where we can find the equipment which we can deploy, which can be deployed at very short notice.
plant propagation and food production are other aspects which will require serious attention, particularly in light of Hurricane Maria's impact.
And for the first time, food has been included as a subcomponent, a subdivision of the ministry itself to emphasize the need for food security. And so I believe that we have to be able to distinguish between the food production unit of agriculture and the rest of the activities within the Ministry of Agriculture. The importation of selected tree crops is going to be critical. We're looking at importing some 20,000 coconut plants, some 8,000 citrus, some 5,000 coffee certified seeds, 40,000 certified avocados, coffee, cocoa. We expect that the citrus plants will be here during the course of this month. The order has been placed and I believe that the plants have been paid for, so we're expecting that during this month the citrus plants will be here. The coconut plants we expect by June. Coffee we expect by May. Avocado we expect by July.
And the formation of a trade union congress may have eluded local trade unions for decades. But there could be a coming together of some private sector unions if everything works out as planned. Retired President General of the National Workers Union Rawlings Jemmott spoke to Channel 5 News recently about plans for the coming together of 3 unions, the NWU and 2 others. The idea is not to necessarily merge into one body, but to collaborate on various levels for the benefit of all.
But right now, the NWU is reviewing itself with the other private sector unions, and we are right now having planned a meeting with the DTU and the DAO to see as a team, as a collective, we could do something collectively for Dominica in the future, and to see we can grow a second-hand leadership in the European Union. So we, in a way, will partner jointly in a federation like with the DTU and the DAO. I think that was already with WOW for about 10 or more years and 15 years and nothing happening yet. But we believe that if the General Secretary did that, we had discussions already to actually move on to get workers initiative in terms of look at for the new paradigm for workers, because the agreements are all in good shape. The employers use it all the time. But what's the paradigm shift for workers in this Caribbean country? Are we saying that we should enter? No, there are different shifts. The workers must be developed in a different atmosphere, spiritually, mentally, physically. We believe that workers need assistance collectively to do things collectively.
Getting local trade unions to collaborate has been an uphill battle. The disunity was again very apparent on Labor Day or May Day this year, when local trade unions held separate gatherings as opposed to celebrating the May Day rally as one. The call for unity was again forcefully repeated this year during a May Day rally at WOW headquarters. It appears that the hope of forming a trade union congress may not be entirely lost.
In 2015, in delivering the May Day address, I expressed my concern and worry at the posture of 2 trade union leaders in Dominica and the negative consequences it held for the eventual formation of a trade union congress here in our country. In 2018, the word has gone out from one leader that there will never be a trade union congress in Dominica, or at least in his lifetime. I, on the other hand, want to make it clear that there will be a trade union congress in Dominica. And like him, I will say, before I exit this earth, there will be this TUC in Dominica.
You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, help from the UK for the local cocoa sector.
Do you need more cash for that home improvement? Then come to Fast Cash, where we give you more. At Fast Cash, our customers get more funds and more time to repay. But wait, can't come to us? we'll come to you, and our mobile officer will get you on your way. Small businesses, consumers, and taxi owners, Fast Cash has more for everyone. Simply call or visit any of our locations for more. Smarter, faster, better. Fast Cash. Terms and conditions apply.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fence pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Thank you for staying with us. The UK-based University of Reading is among institutions stepping in to help develop the country's cocoa sector. This as the Dominica Export-Import Agency DEXIA heightens efforts at boosting capacity of stakeholders in cocoa through a cocoa cluster program.
It has already begun to be a fruit for us, the cocoa cluster, for example. While I'm speaking to you now, there's persons from the University of Reading out of the UK here in Dominica who saw what we were trying to achieve and heard about what we're trying to achieve and decided to come over to Dominica to assist us. Now they're here to assist the Ministry of Agriculture as well, and with cocoa. So that's a plus for us, because it's a plus for the cluster. If we can get people like the University of Reading on board, then it's no telling what can happen in terms of what we're trying to achieve: research development, germplasm work, disease management, value added.
The Cocoa Research Center of Trinidad is also involved in the country's moves to enhance the cocoa sector. At the same time, Compete Caribbean is developing capacity enhancement plans for DEXIA to assist businesses involved in cocoa processing.
I mentioned packaging and labeling, and that is one area that a lot of our businesses need to improve on, right? There's also the area of product development, which I mentioned. There's innovation. So innovation can mean innovation in terms of the product itself or your process. So all of those areas are areas that we can use to improve what the business sectors are doing.
Pascal says the cluster approach for generating support for the high-value crop has been a lot more beneficial.
The cluster initiative has been very useful for us, and we think it's something that can benefit Dominica a whole lot. What has happened in the past is that we've had a lot of erratic, sporadic interventions in various crops. Various agencies would come in and do certain things, and it's not sometimes cohesive, it's not sometimes there's no collaboration involved in it. So we're seeing the need for us to use the cluster to do that. So that's why we're able to bring all the stakeholders involved in a particular crop together so that we can develop the entire industry at the same time. So all of the concerns that we have for, be it standards, be it research, be it packaging, labeling, be it marketing, all of those concerns can be brought to bear on the cluster, and we can then, as a cluster, seek to find solutions and seek to find support from various agencies.
And team leader for the International Organization of Migration, IOM, is dissatisfied with the speed with which houses are being covered ahead of the 2018 hurricane season. The IOM joined the government of Dominica and other international partners in providing secure roofs for damaged houses in the country. The IOM is focusing on 12 communities in the northeast and northwest of the island, and the team leader says with 2 weeks to go before the start of the 2018 hurricane season, he is not pleased with the rate of roof works thus far.
We currently assessed about 500 houses to see what is the repair and if we're able to repair it. Some houses are beyond repair, then we can't do anything, and some houses are just so big that we say it's not fair anymore, but that's ongoing. Then we, of course, continue the construction. As we speak, we finished 70 roofs, and I'm not satisfied with that. It's not going fast enough. We're also nervous. We're under pressure, under pressure by the coming hurricane season, which we also feel as well. But also our donors, the governments that pay us. also have strict guidelines, so we really have to move forward.
He pointed out that labor was the main issue affecting the roofing project. However, that is being solved with the importation of skilled tradesmen.
Really trying our best here to find enough worksmen or carpenters here in Dominica. We didn't find enough. So now, together with Habitat for Humanity, another humanitarian organization, we started bringing in people from the region. Currently we have 19 guys and girls, actually from Trinidad, Jamaica, and Guyana. And we are continuing doing that till we reach a team of about 40. And those are all skilled carpenters. And we will combine them with semi-skilled or unskilled people from Dominica, and then we really can go quicker.
Another delay is ensuring that help is provided for those who do not receive assistance from other sources.
What does take a bit of extra time is that there are also the government or the parliamentary representatives are also handing out, in some cases, checks, in other cases it's materials, and it takes a bit of extra time to compare the lists of the beneficiaries they have and ours to make sure that we don't double dip, so that we spread it out. So in some cases that requires some additional work of administrative work to make sure that everything is done properly.
The IOM has 80 core houses to provide to people whose homes were too severely damaged to repair. A large number of houses was extensively damaged, and recommendations will be made to other international partners to provide houses for these people.
We have a limited number of so-called core houses, so we funded for approximately 80, but the need is much larger. Only in Marigot already we know that there's a need for 80 of those units. So the only thing we can do is refer them to other organizations and the government. So what we do, we collect all the information and we share that with those organizations that can do it. And if there's still a need, I will continue to talk to the foreign governments to see if we can maybe get additional support.
To date, the IOM is active in Marigot, Woodfordale, Monrachet and Coliho, with plans to head to Dubla and Calibishi as early as next week. And the Dominica Labour Party has been commended by one of its own on the accomplishments since Hurricane Maria under the leadership of Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Senator Isaiah Benoit spoke to Channel 5 News against the background of the supplementary appropriations recently approved by Parliament. Benoit believes the estimates themselves demonstrate government's commitment to responding to challenges which confront the nation.
It has been a continued demonstration of the wisdom and fiscal prudence of our Prime Minister and Minister of Finance to demonstrate that in spite of the passage of Maria, he was able to marshal the resources and administer them, appropriate them in a responsible way to address the most critical response needs in terms of relief, also in terms of livelihoods, providing support to our fishermen, our farmers and small business owners will get their help very soon, as have been committed, and also to provide relief in terms of housing.
Benoit has also expressed optimism that the Rapid Response Recovery Agency, another bill passed in Parliament, will eliminate the bureaucracy which often delays assistance needed in medical emergencies. To end the news, the headlines again. Canefield Airport staff to be relocated due to health concerns. Hotel owners frustrated over unpaid insurance claims just 2 weeks ahead of the new hurricane season, and a critical need for health specialists as the country's consultant ophthalmologist goes on pre-retirement leave. Feel free to contact us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.